Okay, so we got the graph of y equals f of x, and that's what this curve represents.
Right.
And we got a scale on the x-axis and a scale on the y-axis. Of course, now that we know where 1 is, we can find out where 2, 3, 4, -1, negative, and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can scale off the rest of the graph based on what I have here. We're just trying to do an estimate to see if we know how to read this graph. Okay, and we have a little problem with this, but not too bad. Okay, so we want to estimate the value of y equals f of -2. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, your graph is of y equals f of x, right?
Right.
So if you got a -2 here, that indicates that x should be -2, doesn't it?
Right.
Well, where's x equal -2?
On the left.
Yeah, well, you told me. You said it's over here, a couple of units. Well, there it is. There's -1, -2. So it's about here. And if you were drawing it, you might draw it a little different. Matter of fact, that unit is a bit short, I think. Maybe that one's a bit long. So maybe that's kind of close. But we're just trying to see where these things are and see how we can read off answers to questions like this, right?
Right.
Okay, so x is -2 here, right? Well, so how do we find the y value that goes with x equal -2? We just say, okay, well, just go up to this graph until we hit it. X is -2. Matter of fact, x is -2 everywhere. Every point on a vertical line through here has x coordinate -2, doesn't it?
Right. Okay.
Okay, so we're looking for the point on this graph where the x coordinate is -2.
Mm.
Well, that's this point right here, right?
Right. Okay.
So here it is. So, and I'm going to say this, which may be more than I should say, but I think you're pretty smart. You can understand this, okay? X is -2 everywhere on this line, right?
Right.
The x coordinate of every point on the line is -2, saying the same thing. That's what we mean by x is -2 everywhere on this line, right?
Right.
So x is -2 here, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's also on the graph of the function, right?
Right.
So here, meaning here, x is -2 and the point is on the graph of f of x, right? So the y coordinate is f of -2. Okay?
Okay.
So the y coordinate is there. Okay?
Okay.
So what do you think the y coordinate is?
-2 or -1.
Well, it's more than -1, but I think it's less than -2, so.
-1/2.
I'm sorry, it's not -1. You know, here's the y coordinate, you
Oh,
know,
yeah,
here's
sorry.
1.
Right. So
And
1/2.
of course, then, if 2 is right here, it's maybe 1.4 or 1.5, right?
Right. Okay.
Okay? We could estimate 1.4 or 1.5, and those would both be reasonable estimates. You know, 3.4 is not a good estimate.
No.
Because 3 would be all the way up here and we're down here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so can you give me an estimate and kind of draw this on your graph and show me how you actually reason it out? Yeah, draw your yourself a reasonable copy of this graph. And, you know, with a, kind of a similar scale, and show me how you would estimate f of 3. Your estimate, you know, your graph won't be identical to mine, so don't worry if your estimate comes out different than the estimate I make on this graph, right?
Okay.
So, you know, just the process is what's important.